here's why. Number one, Gregg Township zoning laws have changed since then. Number two, some of the property has been sold. A small portion, but a portion of the property has been sold, and there's deed restrictions and covenants with those two owners. Those would have to be renegotiated in order for anything else to go up there that's not according to those deed restrictions already.
Mr. Mathias.
Well, just to set the record straight, the covenants have been renegotiated with Target, so it's a much different situation than it happened. But just to set the record straight here, that there's $7.8 million remaining on those bonds for Bridge Street bonds. It has been for sale since 1998 in whole and in part. There have been two sales. One was to the Eye Center, the other one was to Target. We now have a new realtor, and the county's only been involved from the sales standpoint now for since 2015. So that's it. I mean, you can sell it for, $1 million, but you're still going to have $6.8 million.
Thank you. We will now begin audience questions. What steps do you plan to take to make sure there is more transparency with the decisions and actions taken by the commissioners? We begin with Ms. Richards, please.
I believe there's improvement in this area. The county commissioner meetings are held at 2 o'clock every other week. Can you get it?
I'm sorry. Just, okay, up to you. I'll hold it up.
I'll swallow this.
There you go. There you go.
I believe that there's room for improvement. Currently and historically, the county commissioners meetings have been held at 2 o'clock on Tuesday afternoons. And that doesn't make it accessible to the public that is working during those hours. So I would propose that we have at least several meetings a year that are held out in the community. I would encourage you to town hall meetings occasionally. But most importantly, I think that there is plenty of room for more conversation about what we want and what is coming at us and how we are going to plan for either the crises, the challenges, or the opportunities. And that often takes conversation, and it often takes planning ahead of time before it comes back and bites you.
Ms. Ragnar.
Well, I agree with Stacy wholeheartedly. I do think that we need to move the meetings to a more convenient time. Most of us do have jobs, and 2 o'clock in the afternoon makes it impossible for me to get to a commissioner's meeting. I would love to go. I also think we can move them around in the area. I also think there are things we can do with the website. I mean, I know that they put the agendas and all that stuff up, but there are things we can do there to improve that, make sure it's easily searchable, browsable. I also think there's the option of using video to I don't necessarily say live stream the meetings, but you can use video and put it up on the website so people who can't get there actually have an opportunity to see what's going on. Thank you.
Mr. Casimir.
This will not be a popular answer probably, but I think at the moment we're in kind of a frenzy about a myth of transparency. I think multimedia and social media and this idea that everything can be seen and everything should be seen is rubbish. It's total nonsense. We do need to have conversations. The sunshine laws mean that with only 3 commissioners, 2 guys can't talk very much without triggering breaking the rules. But there does have to be an opportunity for people to have conversations, and everything doesn't need to be seen. I'm not interested in hiding anything. Sure, we could change the meeting time, but I think it's a lie that no person is pushing, but that technology kind of encourages that because we can see it, we should see it. I don't agree with that.
Mr. Connolly.
Well, I agree with what some of my colleagues have said about having more access online to meetings. There's no reason why we couldn't live stream. It's a very simple thing to do. People do it every day. There's no reason why we couldn't look at agendas ahead of time. But I know, I've been on a number of boards, and a lot of times when you're sitting in a meeting, the agenda that you have is ratifying things like we said about gravestones for veterans, things like that. Much of it is not controversial. So it may be a tempest in a teapot here. But we can, if there was a real issue to get more transparency, we can use the electronic resources at our disposal and make things much more available to people.
Mr. Medina.
I do agree with my colleagues. I think live streaming is a way for us to move into the 21st century and to move into the new technological era. So we should definitely take advantage of that. Definitely providing more community meetings, reaching out to the other areas of the county. Sometimes people concentrate on the east end. We need to go to the west end and talk to people there too. The agendas are posted online. Also, we do need to change the meetings. There's many people that do work from 8 to 4:30 and things like that. And that kind of gets in the way of them going to a meeting. So I think we can have that. So I would agree with Stacy and Heidi and Carly on that. We definitely could do that. Is there transparency? Yes, but the access, I think, can be improved.
Mr. Reaver.
Well, open government is good government. I think we can probably all agree on that. How you define that transparency, we've heard several different ideas up here, and I think they're all valid reasons. Is live streaming and recording the right way? Happy to talk about that. Is moving the meetings to different locations? Happy to talk about that too. Have to look at the county in general, and as a whole, and figure out what is best for the county, and is our county government set up to do that. And there's just a handful of people saying they want the meetings, or however that will be. Another way to really improve transparency, and one of the things I'm proud of is during this campaign, I was able to go to each municipality within Union County and attend at least one full meeting of the supervisor or borough council. And I learned about the ideas, and I've been building those relationships, and I think a lot of what can be improved upon, and what people want to say from an information standpoint, they just want to talk. So, I think from a transparency standpoint, just getting out, being part of the community, being part of the other local governments, and just, supporting them and working with them for the benefit of the county is really, I think, a great answer.
Mr. Allred.
I'll be very agreeable and say I've agreed with almost everything I've heard except for maybe Mr. Casimir. We do need more transparent, open government. One of the areas, though, that I want to highlight that hasn't been highlighted already is if you've been to a commissioner meeting, they go fairly quickly, and it's just, here's the motion, here's the vote, here's the motion, here's the vote. They do take opportunity for questions from the audience, but there's not much discussion, maybe one or two issues once in a while, but there's very little discussion in an open commissioner meeting. I think more things need to be discussed. We need to have multiple voices in, giving different sides of an issue so that they're truly vetted and we're making the best decisions for Union County.
Mr. Booth.
Maybe we've become complacent, but there were times when commissioner meetings were extremely boring and people didn't show up, and so it didn't seem important. I can remember 15 years ago when the TV camera used to come in and they'd run it on cable TV. But that disappeared, went away, and what have you. I have no problem with moving the meetings if people are going to show up to the meetings, but it doesn't make sense to have nighttime meetings if nobody shows up. We can try that, and we can have transparency. There's no objection from my point. It